Zuma TV back in the building. What's going on, family? Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to New Media. All that good shit, man. Let's talk about the fights that went on yesterday, man. But more specifically than that, and shout out to PBC, by the way, because that card was absolutely amazing. From the Josecito Lopez, the John Molina, Mario Barrios fight, fucking David Benavidez fight with Darrell, and Earl Spence and Sean Porter. God damn, every single fight on that motherfucker was crazy. And even the prelims had some beautiful highlight reel knockouts, man. That shit was crazy. Joey Spencer, you know what I'm saying? I seen Messiel Rodriguez. Just a lot of fucking talent under the PBC banner, man. It's absolutely amazing. But let's talk about David Benavidez' fight against Darrell. Now, I really like that fight. You know what I'm saying? Darrell showed that he wasn't here to lay down. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't going to go out like Jay Leon Love. You know what I'm saying? In terms of getting out there quickly. He still got stopped, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't get stopped in the fashion that Jay Leon Love got stopped, because that was like a fucking whitewash body bag, you know what I'm saying? But Andy Darrell, he tried to push Benavidez back, you know what I mean? He tried to keep him distracted with the feints, the jab to the body. He tried to use his movement to frustrate Benavidez, but Benavidez just kept coming, man. His size, his punch variation, his hand speed, and his pressure was just too much for Darrell. And nonetheless, David Benavidez got the stoppage. Now, I thought it was a pretty impressive feat for David Benavidez, because Darrell has been a pro for 15 years and only had lost one time, and had the WBC belt prior to him having the belt yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So he's a two-time world champion, been a pro for 15 years, and David Benavidez made it seem like he was just as seasoned as the guy, and Darrell's experience didn't really get to play a role because Benavidez was just that dominant during the fight. So it was a beautiful performance from David Benavidez. But when I watched him fight, he definitely showed some flaws. David Benavidez has some things to work on. His high guard defense, you know what I'm saying, it's pretty effective, because Darrell didn't really land that much clean shots to the chin. He definitely had his moments, but his high guard defense, it has to follow with some type of head movement, man. Because when you start facing the big punchers in the division, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be a problem, especially if they start coming around the guard. You know what I'm saying? So, and another thing, when he gets his opponents to the ropes, he tends to get square. And against somebody like Caleb Plant, they're gonna expose that. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Plant exposed that against Jose Euskadegi. Jose Euskadegi was trying to let shots fly while he was square. Caleb Plant will land a beautiful combination, and he'll be off balance and hit the canvas. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely something that Caleb Plant can use to his advantage. You know what I mean? Him being square and not having the best balance, him not being in position while he's punching. Another thing, when David Benavidez throws shots, he tends to drop his guard. You know what I'm saying? He likes to rely on his reflexes to slip back from a punch. You know what I mean? If somebody catches you pulling out, you know what I'm saying, that could be a knockdown as well, even if it's an off balance or a flash knockdown. Those are things that I've seen, but then again, Benavidez is only 22 years old. You know what I mean? He's 22 years old. He's very young. He has a lot to learn, and his career is nowhere near over yet, as far as I know. But then again, he is at the world title level, so he has to fix these things quickly. You know what I mean? Because these other dudes that he's going to fight not going to wait for him to develop. He has a belt. People are going to want to fight him. So, let's talk about Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. I think this is the definition of a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? I believe those two right now are the best fighters in the division. You know what I mean? Jesse Hart moved up to 75, unless he's coming back down. Gilberto Ramirez moved up. I don't believe Callum Smith. He looks alright. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't done anything for me to be like, oh shit, like this dude is great. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. Chris Eubank. It just goes on and on. I think George Groves retired. So I believe it's just them two, David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. And that's a brilliant fight. When the fight's gonna happen, I'm not too sure. I think both of those guys are willing to fight each other, but you know how the business of boxing goes. They might stall it out and try to wait. You know what I'm saying? But I think that fight makes sense right now. And when I watched Caleb Plant versus Jose Uzcategui, I noticed that Caleb has great footwork, light feet at that, because you can have great footwork and still be heavy on your feet. Yeah, light feet, great footwork, very sharp, real sharp, crisp combinations. Keeps them short. He doesn't throw his punches too wide. And I like how he punches through the exchange, like real crafty things that he does is what sets him apart from a lot of the guys in the division. But when I watched him fight Jose Uzcategui, he had showed signs, although he was experienced enough to weather the storm that Uzcategui was bringing and was able to deal with the pressure. He showed signs of fatigue. I don't know if that was because he speaks about training like really hard, and I think coaches having to tell him to stop training. You know what I'm saying? So it might have been a result of overtraining, leaving some of his fight in the gym. But Caleb Plant is talented enough to dispose of Jose Uzcategui with a training camp that he might have did too much in. You know what I'm saying? So that pressure had definitely had Caleb Plant fatigued, and he got hit with some shots that he wasn't supposed to get hit with in those later rounds. You know what I'm saying? And against somebody like David Benavidez, who throws punches and bunches, hand speed, and has some crack, that's not something you really want to do against David Benavidez. And another thing I noticed about Benavidez, I don't want to say that he doesn't know how to cut off the ring, but there was a lot of moments in the fight against Durrell that he followed him. You know what I'm saying? Durrell was able to get away from the ropes to get back to the center of the ring. So that's definitely something Benavidez has to work on as well. You know what I'm saying? Just watch some Triple G, man. Triple G is a fucking beast at cutting off the ring. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I think Benavidez' pressure, his hand speed, and his combination punching, his nonstop pressure is going to be a problem for Caleb Plant. On the other hand, David Benavidez is going to have trouble with the counter punching and the movement of Caleb Plant. So both of these guys showed some things that showed that they were human. You know what I'm saying? So both of these guys, man, they got some things to work on, but they got a lot of time to do it, man. And they're talented enough where they could fix those flaws. You know what I mean? But that's definitely a 50-50 fight. Right now, I'm leaning more towards David Benavidez, but I would not be surprised if Caleb Plant was to get a W over him. You know what I'm saying? So let's just see what happens, man. This Mazuma TV. Shout out to everybody watching. Even though I be getting some hate in the comments, man. You know what I mean? It's all love, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the LDBC New Media. And I'm out.